Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me from a very rainy Salford. So let's dive straight in. So today's Daf is Shevuout Daf 49 Omid B. So it's kind of from that stuff. If the owner said to the borrower, "Where's my ox?" and the borrower said to him, "It died," but the truth was that it was injured or captured or stolen or lost. Or if he responded it was injured, but the truth was that it died or was captured or stolen or lost. Well, if he responded it was captured, but the truth was that it died or was injured or stolen or lost. Or if he responded it was stolen, but the truth was that it died or was injured or captured or lost. Or if he responded it was lost, but the truth was that it died or was injured or captured or stolen. In any of the above cases, the owner of the ox said, "I administer an oath to you concerning your claim," and the borrower said, "Amen." If one loans an ox to another and subsequently claims it back from him, and the borrower claims that the ox was stolen or lost, when in reality it died, and he took an oath with regard to his false claim, he is exempt from liability for taking the oath of the bailies, as his false oath did not render him exempt from liability to pay. Shevuout 8:6. He is exempt from bringing an offering for his false oath, since the oath did not render him exempt from liability to pay. He would have been liable to pay in any case. But if the owner said to the borrower, "Where's my ox?" and the borrower said to him, "I do not know what you are talking about," but the truth was that it died or was injured or captured or lost or stolen or lost, and the owner said, "I administer an oath to you concerning your claim," and the borrower said, "Amen," the borrower is liable to bring a guilt offering, as he took an oath that would render him exempt from liability to pay. If an owner said to a paid bailey or a renter, "Where's my ox?" and the latter said to him it died, but the truth was that it was injured or captured, or if he said it was injured, but the truth was that it died or was captured, or if he said it was captured, but the truth was that it died or was injured, or if he said it was stolen, but the truth was that it was lost, or if he said it was lost, but the truth was that it was stolen, and the owner said, "I administer an oath to you concerning your claim," and he said, "Amen," the paid bailey or renter is exempt from bringing a guilt offering. If the paid bailey or the renter said it died or was injured or captured, but the truth was that it was stolen or lost, and the owner said, "I administer an oath to you concerning your claim," and he said, "Amen," the paid bailey or renter is liable to bring a guilt offering. If the paid bailey or renter said it was lost or stolen, but the truth was that it died or was injured or captured, and the owner said, "I administer an oath to you concerning your claim," and he said, "Amen," he is exempt from bringing a guilt offering. This is the principle. Anyone who changes from one claim to liability to another claim of liability, one claim of exemption to another claim of exemption, or from a claim of exemption to a claim of liability is exempt from bringing a guilt offering. If he changes from a claim of liability to a claim of exemption, he is liable. This is the principle. Anyone who takes an oath to be lenient with himself is liable. In any case where false oath renders the bailey exempt from liability to pay, whether he took the oath of his own accord, or whether the plaintiff administered the oath to him and he denied the claim, the bailey is liable for falsely taking an oath of the bailey. Shevuout 8:7. If he takes an oath to be stringent with himself, he is exempt. The Gemara asks, who is the Tana who taught that there are 4 types of bailies? Rav Nachman said that Rabbi Avu said it is Rabbi Meir. Rabbi said to Rav Nachman, and there is a Tana, and is there a Tana who does not accept that there are 4 types of bailies? As the question in your answer indicates, Rav Nachman said to him, this is what I am saying to you. Who is the Tana who says that a renter has the same halachic status as a paid bailey? With regard to the question, Rav Nachman said that Rabbi Avu said it is Rabbi Meir. The Gemara challenges, have you heard that Rabbi Meir said the opposite? As it's on the Bible, how does the renter pay? A renter is subject to the same halachot as a paid bailey. If the deposited item was stolen or lost, they both incur liability. Similarly, if a deposited animal was damaged or lost due to circumstances beyond their control, e.g. it died or was captured, they take an oath to that effect and they are exempt. And that's from the Roman Sefer Mishpat, Shevuout 1:2, Shulchan Aruch 307:1. Rabbi Meir says he pays like an unpaid bailey. But here it says he pays like a paid bailey. The Gemara explains that Rabbi Avu taught this brayta while reversing the opinion, stating that Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that a renter is like a paid Bailey. Therefore, he said that the mission is according to the opinion of Rabbi Meir. The Gemara asks, are these in fact 4 types of Baileys? There are actually only 3, as halachot relating to a paid Bailey and a renter are identical. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, there are indeed 4 types of Baileys, but with regard to the manner in which they accepted the deposit, there are only 3 halachot that applied to them. The following cases were stated in the Mishnah. If the owner of the ox said to an unpaid Bailey, where is my ox? Or if the owner of an ox said to someone in the marketplace, where is my ox that you stole? Or if he said to a Bailey, a Shomer, the Rashash notes that this should in fact read to a borrower, where is my ox? And the other person said to him, I do not know what you are talking about. With regard to all of these situations referred to in the Mishnah, Rav says, all of them are exempt from bringing a guilt offering for falsely taking an oath of the Baileys, but they are liable to bring a sin offering for falsely taking an oath on an utterance. In any monetary dispute between an owner and a Bailey, where if the Bailey were to admit the truth, he would not be liable to pay, and the Bailey denies the claim and takes a false oath, he is exempt from bringing a guilt offering for taking an oath of the Baileys, but is liable to bring a sin offering for taking an oath on an utterance. This is in accordance with the opinion of Rav, as in ritual matters the halacha in accordance with Rav. On Sefer Shevuout 7281-256. And Shmuel says they are exempt from bringing a sin offering for falsely taking an oath on an utterance as well. With regard to what principle do they disagree? Shmuel holds that he is exempt from bringing an offering because there is no possibility of taking that oath with regard to an event that may occur in the future, i.e. that the deposit animal will die or be stolen or be lost. And Shmuel holds that one is not liable for taking an oath on an utterance in the case of any oath that one cannot take with reference to the future. And the Rav holds that there is an obligation to bring a sin offering because it is possible to take both a negative oath and a positive one. One of the conditions necessary in order to want to incur liability for an oath and utterance is that the oath can be formulated as both a negative and positive statement. This oath meets that criterion as one can formulate the oath in the negative, e.g. the product was not stolen, as well as in the positive, e.g. it was stolen. The Gemara challenges, but they already disputed this question on another occasion, C25a, as it was stated with regard to one who says, on my oath so-and-so threw a stone into the sea, or on my oath he did not throw it. Rav says, if it were later discovered that the statement was false, he is liable to bring an offering for his oath. And Shmuel says he is exempt. Rav says that he is liable, as the oath can be positive or negative. And Shmuel says he is exempt because his oath cannot be stated with regard to the future, since he cannot control what so-and-so does. The Gemara explains, it was necessary to state the dispute in the case of a Bailey as well, and if they would teach it to us only in the case where one took an oath that so-and-so threw a stone, it may have been understood that it is only in this case that Rav says that the person taking the oath is exempt, since he is taking a false oath of his own accord. But in the case of the Mishnah here, where it is the court that is administering the oath to him, say that Rav concedes to Shmuel that he is exempt, according to the statement of Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Ami says, in a case of any oath that is administered by the judges, one is not liable to bring a sin offering for falsely taking an oath on an utterance. And conversely, if the dispute had been stated only in this case, i.e. a case of the Bailey to whom the court administers an oath, one might have said, if it is in this case that Shmuel says that he is exempt, in accordance with Rabbi Ami's statement, but in the case of one took an oath that someone threw a stone, say that Shmuel concedes to Rav he is liable. Therefore, let's say for the dispute to be stated in both cases. Let me mention Rabbi Ami's ruling. The Gemara discusses the matter itself. Rabbi Ami says, in the case of any oath that is administered by the judges, one is not liable for falsely taking an oath on an utterance, as is stated in the verse, or if anyone swears clearly with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a man shall utter clearly with an oath, and it is hidden from him, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, Leviticus 5:4-6. Only if one takes the oath of his own accord, he is liable. Is he liable? As the verse can be understood according to the statement of Vaish Lakish. Ma'atmo the Reish Lakish. Rav, who hold that one is liable for taking an oath on an utterance even when it is administered by the court, understands these verses to mean, or as key, anyone who swears clearly with his lips. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin. This reading suggests that even when the oath is imposed upon him by the court, he is liable, as the liability does not depend upon his initiative. As Reish Lakish says, the term ki has 4 distinct meanings: if, perhaps, rather than as. According to Rabbi Ami, its meaning in the above verse is if, indicating that only if one takes the oath within a court he is liable. Rabbi Elazar says all of them, i.e. all those listed in the Mishnah as exempt, are exempt from bringing a guilt offering for taking an oath of the Baileys, but they are liable to bring a sin offering for taking an oath on an utterance, except for Baruch, who says, I do not know what you are talking about, and a paid Bailey or renter who claims that the deposit was stolen or lost. In these cases, the Bailey is liable for taking an oath of the Baileys, as he denied a monetary claim, meaning that he wanted to render himself exempt from liability to pay. This halacha according to the opinion of Rav. Summary to Perek 8. This chapter explained that a Bailey who makes a false claim and takes an oath to that effect is not always liable for falsely taking an oath of the Baileys. The principle with regard to this matter is stated at the end of the Mishnah. Any Bailey who makes a false claim that would in any case not render him exempt from liability to pay and takes an oath to that effect is not liable for falsely taking an oath of the Baileys. This is the halacha in a case where he would have been exempt if he admitted the truth, and in a case where he would have been required to pay whether he admitted the truth or made the false claim. In any event, in all these cases, because he took a false oath, the Bailey is obligated to bring an offering for falsely taking an oath on an utterance. He is liable for taking an oath of the Baileys only if he would have otherwise been required to pay, and he made a false claim in order to render himself exempt from liability to pay. One who is liable for falsely taking an oath of the Baileys is required to return the principal, i.e. the actual value of the item, to the owner, as well as an additional 1/5 payment. He also brings a guilt offering to atone for his sin. This is the halacha if he admits his sin of his own accord. If a Bailey compensates the owner as a result of the testimony of witnesses, he is not eligible for this atonement and pays only the principal. Similarly, if an unpaid Bailey claims that the item was stolen from him, but witnesses testify that the Bailey himself stole it, he pays double the principal. In the same manner, a thief would. If witnesses testify that the unpaid Bailey slaughtered the animal or sold it, he pays 4 times the principal for a sheep and 5 times the principal for an ox. If he admits to one of these transgressions within a court, he is exempt from the extra fine, but is required to pay the principal and additional 1/5, and also brings a guilt offering. The same payments are made by a thief in a similar case. Although the halachot in the following cases were not mentioned explicitly, an unpaid Bailey who was negligent in safeguarding the item, and a borrower who made a false claim that the animal deposited with him died due to ordinary use, are also required to pay, and if they admitted their deeds of their own accord, they add the additional 1/5 payment and bring a guilt offering. So I finished the Masechta Shevuout. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and now I'm going to say the Hadran. Hadran alach Masechta Shevuout v'Hadrach Alon. Datan alach Masechta Shevuout v'Hadrach Alon. Lo nashe minach Masechta Shevuout v'lo tisnashi minan. Lo ba'alma de hadain v'lo ba'alma de asay. Yehi v'asom ufanecha Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Rasenu. שתהי תורשך ומה נוסחנו בעולם הזה וזהי אימנו לעולם הבא. חנינא בר פפא, רמי בר פפא, נחמן בר פפא, אחי בר פפא, אבא מרי בר פפא, רפן בר פפא, רכש בר פפא, סוחב בר פפא, עדה בר פפא, דורו בר פפא. אוהב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהנה אנחנו וששאנו עמך בית ישראל. כולנו יהודי שמך ולמד תורתך לשמו, מעובדי תחנמני מצוותיך, כי לעולם יהיד לי בישמים בחוקיך, למען לא אבוש. לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך כי בם חייסוני. ברוך אתה Adonai nabdenu chukecha, amen, 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 sela va'ed. Modim anachnu loch. Modim anachnu lefanecha, Adonai leheinu v'lehevaseinu. Shesamta chalkeinu miyoshvei beis hamidrash, lo samta chalkeinu miyoshvei kavanos. She'anu maskimim behem mishkimim, anu maskimim v'divrei soa, v'hem maskimim l'divrei betelim. Anu amenim v'hem amenim. Anu amenim mekablin zacha, v'hem amenim v'einom mekablin zacha. Anu rotzim v'hem rotzim, anu rotzim l'chayei olam haba, v'hen rotzim l'v'er shachas shenema. V'haya Elohim toridem l'v'er shachas anshe domim v'umirma lo yechezu yemeihem, v'ani evtach boch, yehi rotzum v'fanecha. Adonai lahai kashem ta'azartani l'sayim mesechah Shevuos hen ta'azreini lahashchir mesechtos usforim achim usayamam limod ולומד לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי סמכותיך באהבה וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים ותלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי וזרי שנו סומס התורה מפי זרי וזרע לזרי עד עולם יתקיים בי לך תנחה עשוך ושכבך תשמור עליך והכיסו שהי שיחך כי בי בימיך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים אורך יום במינו בשמו לו אושר וכבוד אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך עמו בשלום. Thank you for listening and may you all be blessed with only good things. Bye.